Welcome to a Squared Conversation, where I'll be having discussions with impactors and community drivers in the Philadelphia running and fitness scene, who inspire all of us to show up for our community authentically. I'm your host, Aaron Nixon. Join me and a special guest each episode as we dive into the who we are, why we show up every day for those around us, unpacking beyond the surface conversation by welcoming vulnerability, love, and grace. Welcome back, everyone, to an amazing episode of A Squared Conversation. Today, I have the pleasure of sitting with two major fitness community impactors who I am glad to call very great friends of mine. You can find them coaching at F45, FS8, Cyclebar, and self-led movement classes throughout the city like outdoor yoga and Pilates. Please welcome to the podcast my friends Megan Mayer and Kira Kasselman.
Hi. Hi, guys.
Hi, welcome.
Happy to be here.
Because you guys were there with me at the inception of this entire idea. So It's so nice to have you both sitting here.
We're literally so honored to be here.
I'm so excited. Kira, so good to see you. I saw you Saturday at Diplo's Run.
Yes, you did. That was so fun.
It was so much fun. Tell me what were some of your favorite takeaways from it?
Oh, I loved that it was a short, quick run.
Yeah.
Everyone just felt like super excited to be there.
Right.
It wasn't like there was separation between real runners and then people that were signing up maybe for the first time. I think that there's always a lot of nerves and anxiety and you can feel that, like anticipation and excitement also. But this just felt really fun and everyone was just happy to be there. And then, of course, I got the chance to be in the VIP section, so I got to experience Sweat House. They had so many different little activations and tents that were so awesome. And then, of course, Diplo played a sick set.
Oh my gosh, yes. He did such an amazing job, Meg. We missed you.
Guys, stop
For the people at home, Meg was not able to be with us.
But everyone looked like they had the freaking time of their lives. I'm so jealous.
Meg, that would have been a warm-up run for you.
No, I can't run. Like, I'm going to cry, but it's fine.
We had such a great time. And I feel like that is what the running community needed, because most of the time for different races, like you'll have a live band playing and it'll be kind of like indie or like folk music, but there's never been like a house like after party where they play house, techno, dance music. So I was definitely in my element. I was dancing and okay, runners, like, let's go. It was 10 out of 10. Absolutely no notes, guys.
No notes.
Yeah.
Yep. I loved that it was a nice early morning music festival.
Yeah.
It was really cool because I feel like in my past, I've been to a ton of music festivals just in different environments, groups of people, circumstances. And so this was like the coolest, small, community-based wellness music festival. With still really good music and good energy. And it goes to show that, like, you don't need to get... Are we allowed to curse on here?
Yeah, please go ahead. You're totally fine. Yeah.
You do not have to get fucked up to have a good time.
Exactly. We had such a good time.
Yeah.
Have you listened to Diplo's Run Club playlists on Spotify?
I don't think so.
That's
No.
the official playlist.
Guys, absolutely. Once again, no notes. Like, I've been listening to it every single day.
No day is amazing.
Yeah, it's so good. And I think you guys would really enjoy it for your classes too.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, for music.
That makes it so easy for us.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. But really happy to have you guys here. And so we're going to dive in a little bit into kind of like your fitness journey. Perfect. So I'm really excited to hear about your stories. Taking classes at F45, like, you guys really made the classes really enjoyable. Cyclebar as well. I have yet to do FS8. That is definitely something I know. The thing for me when it comes to Pilates is that reformer, like, my balance, I do not have good coordination at all. And I feel like I'm going to fall.
Yeah. I also think it can be intimidating to see something. Yeah. I always tell people, like, imagine you're doing this movement just on the floor. You would be doing it no problem. It's simply the fact that it's a different machine that you might not be used to and that it moves. And so I think the moving of that machine makes it feel like something you've never experienced, but you know how to do a lunge, you know how to do a squat, you know how to do a plank, and it's all the same. It's just getting comfortable on the machine versus the movement itself, I think.
Yeah. Okay. I think I just need to do it.
I think you do too.
Just pull that Band-Aid off, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh
Rip it off.
The same thing with kind of like a cold plunge. Like, I can do a cold shower. I usually start off with warm water first, and then like the last 5 minutes, I'll just do like a cold shower.
5 minutes?
The last 5 minutes, that's it. Yeah.
My shower isn't even 5 minutes.
So it's really safe.
It's a good rinse. We get through a good rinse. When you're sweating every day and you're sweating multiple times a day, I feel like it's like you gotta be in and out. You know how to be in and out. Yep.
I wish that I knew that. Like seriously, I will say my showers last at least maybe like 15 to like 20
Good for
minutes
you.
sometimes. Yeah.
That used to be the case for me.
Squeaky clean.
Squeaky clean. But also there's some time and I'm not accounting for like the full shower. I'm also accounting for maybe like setting like the music, the mood right with like the playlist,
That is
all
so
that good
funny.
stuff. Yeah.
I'm so
literally-
opposite.
Same.
I like sometimes don't even remember to turn my lights on.
Wait,
No, like I will just
My bathroom
Yeah.
no,
light
like I'm
has
like
been broken
I
the
just
past,
like
2
go
hours.
and then yeah, exactly.
Oh, I
I'll
love
just
that.
hop in the shower, hop out, and that's it. There's no vibe setting.
Wow. Okay. I'm always
I'm like,
sending a
how
vibe.
quickly can I get this done?
Yeah. I'm always sending a vibe. I'm like, I want to be in there for a
I
good
love
amount of
that
time.
for
Yeah.
you. I wish I had that.
I
in
wish
me.
that I was a vibe setter. I think that I am in some environments
Yeah.
and in some cases.
But showering.
Okay. What are those things that you set the vibe for? Like
I
those
think
moments.
that I think I set a good vibe for class. I think I like to identify the people that are in my class and the type of music that I would imagine them wanting to listen to. And sometimes that might be a selfish decision because I'm like, well, I do really like this song, and I think that they'll like this song. But I do try to like set a vibe that I feel like will resonate with everyone. And sometimes that's a little bit different than the typical class music vibes, things like that, making sure that everyone feels super comfortable. I set the vibe in the car
Yeah.
when I'm driving.
Like that warm up.
If you are in
Yeah.
my car as a passenger princess, like I will make sure that you are thoroughly comfortable
Yeah.
and safe.
Oh, I'm excited.
I don't know about safe.
Okay, but
Next, like, no, not really.
but clarify. Safe driver, just fast
Right,
and efficient.
yeah.
Yeah, she's fast and efficient in her showers, and she's fast and efficient in her driving.
Meg, she's driving to to the beat of the music. That's what
Yeah.
it is. Yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh, I love that. So diving in, you guys are like supreme cookers. Like you have your hands in so many pots and so many forms of movement and
I
fitness.
thought he meant actual cooking.
Well, Meg, I mean, you know, following you on Instagram, I do see like your dishes.
Yeah,
and you make,
it's very simple and
Also,
efficient.
Simple,
Yeah.
fast,
Yeah.
and efficient.
Well, once again, another hand in another pot, which is amazing. Yeah.
But sorry, keep going.
No, you're totally fine. So I'm kind of curious because I feel like we've had so many great conversations just about life in general and about movement. And I met you guys when I was with, you know, a brand, and you guys were already in it. And I kind of like just follow suit because you guys were just so motivating and encouraging. You guys do an amazing job of making sure everyone feels safe, feels welcome, and is so inclusive. Like, I recommend F45 to anyone. Like, they come into Fury, they come into Philly Runner. I'm like, hey, are you trying to find other forms of movement other than running? Try out F45. And I will specifically say Northern Liberties because they are my friends, but they also just know exactly what it means to set the move right and sometimes taking that pressure off. Because for me, like going into a gym is so intimidating, like one-on-one, like myself, everyone's there using the machines, and being a runner, like most of the time is on the track workout. And when I go into a gym, I'm like, I want to make sure I'm doing this right as far as like form and lifting. I don't want people to look at me. And, you know, it's this thing in your head where you're like, okay, other people are watching, but in reality, like no one's watching
Or
you.
it's not even about watching, it's
Yeah.
just about comparing. I think
Exactly.
there's so much comparison when you're in an environment where you're kind of in your own head and doing your
Yeah.
own thing, and you're kind of looking around and other people are doing their own thing.
Yeah.
Rather than thinking about them watching you, I think that there's a lot of like, well, what are they doing? I love the way that they look. I want to
Yeah.
be doing what they're doing, but I don't know that I'm capable of lifting that weight, or
Right.
I don't know that I don't know how to do that move.
Yeah.
And then it feels a little bit discouraging because of that comparison, I think.
Yeah. And to your point, that's when I will just stay on the treadmill and the Stairmaster. It's like, because that's what I know and it's easy.
Yeah.
But you guys do an amazing job at just making people feel so welcome and comfortable, right? And I always say with the instructor making the class, the music is right. You guys come around and you kind of encourage people. You make us feel like very safe to just get something wrong. You don't, and I've been in moments where sometimes it could be like overly aggressive, but you guys just allow space and the grace for us to figure the work out by ourselves, right? And for someone who is just starting out in their fitness journey or just trying out F45 for the first time, I always just encourage them like, hey, please just go to F45 Northern Liberties. And then also with the other forms of movement that you guys are involved in with like cycle, and then, you know, Kira, with you doing your outdoor yoga events as well. Like there's so much wellness and you guys just, you lead with so much love. You can definitely tell how much enthusiasm you guys have when you're putting on these events and when you're really, really teaching these people who register for your classes. So let's do a round of applause for you guys. Hats off. Now we're going to do a deep dive into kind of your journey with fitness, because I'm super curious to hear about that. So how did you guys find movement? What were you like, growing up? Were you active? Were you into sports? Like, I'm curious about that trajectory for you both.
Yeah. Do you want to go first or second?
You go.
Okay. Growing up, I was active in that I was playing basketball, I was playing softball, I was playing soccer. And then it was when I got to college, when like I didn't have those sports anymore, that I was like, okay, like, well, what do I have? Because I know I love working out. So I was at Penn State and I actually found this organization called Charge. It stands for Changing Health and Attitudes to Recreate Girls. So it's basically just like a fitness group that is all women, and we just partner with local fitness studios on and off campus. And that was when I took my first ever F45 class when it was in 2018. Fell in love with the workout, and that is like how I kind of ended up where I am today, which is just like a really cool, like, for full circle moment to see. But it was in that organization that I found my love for the gym. I found my love for fitness studios, for group fitness specifically. And I fell in love with the way that it made me feel, and specifically how the instructors made me feel. And I knew that I wanted to be that person for other people. So that was kind of how I fell in love with fitness in general and decided that I wanted to do that. So then when F45 was looking for someone full time, originally I was going to go to PT school. And I fell in love with my job, and I knew I wanted to do it all the time. And that was kind of how I landed where I am today.
Nice. I love that. It's like you got to experience that welcoming vibe that everyone else is experiencing, that you give to us, people who are signing up for your classes for the first time. Well, what are some of the things, like going into your very first class, like what were you feeling? Because any fitness class I'm going into for the first time, it's like very unknown. Like, what is the vibe going to be? Like, will I walk away feeling energized, or will I not want to come back? Like, obviously you stuck with it. You're an F45 coach, but like, what were those things in the first class that made you realize like, okay, like this is exactly potentially what I want to be doing?
I think it was the way that I felt seen, and I felt like I was capable of more. And like having a coach that sees that in you, just makes the world of a difference. And I want to help people realize their full capabilities. So I think it was more so that feeling. And I also freaking love doing hard things. Like, I love being breathless in a class, and like, I love seeing what my body is capable of. And like, a good coach helps you do that. And again, it was F45 where I took like my first cardio workout where I was like, oh wow, like this was really freaking tough. And I'm like in love with that feeling. Yeah.
Would you say that some of it came easy in a way to you?
I
with that instructor?
Yeah, again, because of Charge and everything, I was like leading, it was called small group. So like a group of 8 girls just like through workouts on the daily already. So like I had that like in my back pocket. My major was in kinesiology. So like I had all the background of like the science behind movement. So then it was basically just putting the two together. And again, it was just like something I was passionate about, but like so wild, because as a girl, like as a little girl, I was probably the most timid, shy person ever. And now I will like put myself out there in almost any situation and just be like, okay, like let's go.
Yeah, I love that. And I want to say you're one of the most extroverted people that I know. Like
Which
anytime
is so
I see
wild.
Right.
I would not talk to a single soul growing up.
You always have a smile on your face. Like so the shift to kind of being a little bit more personable and kind of like that extroverted energy, or just getting to know everyone through the classes, I guess that happened through the transition and through your journey.
Yeah, so it happened during that, and my parents will say it all the time. I went through like a whole eating disorder phase, and I had to go to group therapy and like individual therapy sessions. And I think it was in those therapy sessions where I was forced to open up that like in life I started opening up more too, which like going back to like everything happens for a reason, and like I wouldn't be who I am today without like going through those hard things too. Which is cool.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing. I have so many questions. I want to ask her, as I know Kira has to, you have to tell us how you kind of like found fitness and what that was like for you, but we're definitely going to circle back.
Yeah, hold your thought, Meg. Don't forget it. We can definitely keep going.
Yeah, we definitely could.
For me, similarly to Meg, I was very active as a kid. I was a gymnast for 13 years. My mom put me into gymnastics when I was about 13 months. She said, I've had enough of you before I could talk. And no, I'm just kidding. But she knew that I was very active. If you imagined a little just a roly-poly-oly type of figure just around the house. And she could see that that was something that like was a little bit instilled in me. And so she put me in gymnastics really young. I absolutely loved it. It was my whole life and personality. And then I got to an age where it was, I had to make a choice to dedicate all of my time, energy, everything that I had at such a pivotal age, of trying to also grow as an adolescent. That it was like, invest everything you have into this and competing, or stop now. And so I made the decision to not keep going with gymnastics because I was about 13 at the time, and I felt like all I wanted to do was be normal. And I came from a very I came from a household that was not normal, and there was a lot of tension and some trauma. And so I feel like my way of fitting in was by trying to conform to what everyone else was doing, which was just like being a kid, being a teenager, kind of investing themselves into like social life and school, middle school, high school. After I stopped doing gymnastics, I was trying to also find my way in fitness because I knew that I really enjoyed being active. My mom is also incredibly active. She's been active my whole life, watching her run marathons. She's a yoga teacher of over 20 years. So seeing that was always kind of inspiring for me. I was told that it wasn't a good lifestyle to have as like your full-time job. But I think that always like really intrigued me. It's kind of one of those things where when someone tells you not to do something, it kind of makes you want to do it even more.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
And so I had to find my way. And then I think the other part of fitness comes from the insecurities and anxieties and trying to battle like some mental health and what you do with that and how you find your outlet. And for me, it was being active. And so I kind of had my own journey of like going to the gym by myself in high school. I hated being told what to do. So I didn't want to join sports. I tried out for basketball. I tried field hockey because all my friends were playing it. I just hated it. Like I hated being told to run 2 miles and stay after school. I didn't want to do that. And so I didn't love organized sports in that way. So I never joined, short periods of time, and then I would be like, I'm out. Goodbye.
I'm out of here.
They did not need me on the bench anymore. No. I think that I'm naturally athletic, but organized sports was not for me. I was never I think I'm competitive with myself. I don't think I'm like super competitive against other people. I think there's a lot of I think competing and comparison are so different. And I think I leaned a lot more towards the comparison side than I did the actual competitive side. So I, went to the gym when I was in high school. I tried to like find my own workout routine. I did a lot of yoga, Pilates, things that were kind of parallel to post gymnastics lifestyle where you're still a little like flexible and you like to move your body in bendy ways. And then when I got to college, I feel like I dealt with my own mental battles and the only outlet I really had was working out. And so that kind of led me into like my journey of knowing that that was my passion and my hobby. And from there, I started to try every single kind of workout that was possible. I was going to Soul Cycle. I loved being in a group class. It made me feel like I was part of a community, even when I wasn't. And I would kind of just come into class, take it, and then leave. I feel like when you start to, something I really love about Philly is when you go into a studio and you start going there regularly and they start to call your name and they recognize you, and then you start to really feel like you belong. And so I tried to immerse myself into that world in Philly once I came here and started living here and tried to like find what I loved. And then eventually I came over to F45. And we can get into that story, but we can also
like
wait. Yes, it was you and I. I mean, we can talk about that, but it was a lot of maybe to say that some of the love that I have for fitness came from a place originally of some negatives. And then I found a way to like make it such a positive in my life and such a sculpting piece of my entire life.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like and thank you so much, Kira, for sharing your story. Both of you guys. It sounds, that connective tissue through movement is what empowers all of us. And to your point about like dealing with mental health battles and struggling and finding your voice and trying to find that self-confidence, especially like when you're a teenager, you're in college, you're in high school.
Awkward
Those
phases.
are formative, exactly, awkward phases. And sometimes if you don't have that like familial support, you're looking for that outlet. And I say this all the time. I feel like we're constantly, as we get older, we're healing that inner child within us.
Absolutely.
We're constantly pouring into the inner child, like
Baby.
baby Meg, baby Kira. Like, what did those versions of you need, back then? And now as adults, you're able to give that to your younger self. And that's one of the things I love about movement, because even for me, movement saved my life. Like, a runner passed by me and they just said good morning to me. And I was struggling with so much at-home trauma at that time, trying to figure out who I was, come to terms with like who I was, my sexuality. And I was like, how can I turn my pain into something that's going to fuel me to be a stronger individual? Always feeling as though there's more to the pain that I'm feeling right now. And like, there has to be people out there who will relate to me. There has to be some connective tissue that can bring us all together, and we can empower each other and uplift each other. And one of the things that I'm noticing with both of your stories is that, even with Meg, where you were talking about like, the eating disorder, and then kind of like, those groups and being able to voice how you were feeling and express those emotions. And Kira, like you finding movement, like how did you find that? How did you find your inner voice in a way where, movement definitely does help with that, but how are you able to lean into that, to have that open mind and the curiosity to say, okay, this is definitely for me, and reflected it back into your personal life? Like, what were you seeing that you knew that this was paying off, where you were like, okay, fitness is definitely the thing for me? Mm-hmm. You finding your light.
Yeah. For me, that's a great question.
I know I really have to think.
I think, well, there's a couple parts to it. I think one, finding my inner voice was also finding some strength.
Yeah.
Physically and mentally, doing hard things, getting breathless, walking into a class that you hadn't done before and having a teacher be like, good job, or that looks amazing, or keep going, or increase your weight. I know you can do it. That felt really empowering. I think also, to your point, there are so many things that happen that you don't necessarily wish upon anyone, or you don't want other people to have to experience that you might have gone through, but you wouldn't change now, like anything that had happened to you. I've had so many experiences like that. I've had a long life of many lives like that, and things that have happened where I would not wish them upon anyone, but I'm thankful that it's made me who I am and who I'm becoming. And then I think the second part of it is finding something that you're passionate about that also feels really good to immerse yourself in. And I think for me, it was that I'm a people pleaser and I'm really empathetic, and I like always really loved to help people, but I didn't really know how to do that. And I kind of always thought helping people was being a doctor or a nurse or doing something that was, right there firsthand, helping someone in that way. But there are so many different ways that you can help someone. And there are so many jobs that I admire so much that make people feel really good when they walk out. And I really wanted to be a part of that and find that for myself. I think like being able to use my passion, my hobby, the thing that I already was doing so much for myself, and be able to bring that to other people was really helpful in finding my voice.
You leaning into movement, into fitness, really kind of help you guys find your light and your inner voice, and also be able to kind of heal that inner child along the way. Once again, going back to the point of like, those years are very formative years for all of us. And if you don't necessarily have it, or it's not coming from a place of like love, you're seeking it elsewhere. Right. And sometimes those things that you're seeking out can be a negative, but sometimes you do have the positives as well, but you have to lean into the positives. So like when you're involved with movement, when you're involved with fitness and you're able to see the small actionable things that you're doing to better yourself, to be positive, and you're looking in the mirror and you're having those conversations with yourself, you're having those affirmations, you're leaning into something that once again kind of like edifies the body in the best possible way, that's nurturing for you. How does that make you feel, right? Like when you notice those things and you notice those small shifts and you're like, oh, I showed up much better for myself today than I did yesterday, being 1% better every single day. Like, what is that feeling like for you now?
I think, and again, I agree with every single thing that Kira just said. So I think this answers the question, but I'm not positive. But also like just the confidence that you gain, and then like feeling that additional confidence in yourself is priceless. Like, and I think that goes back to like when I was growing up, like I didn't have the confidence in myself. And when I say I was shy, like I didn't talk unless spoken to in most situations, because like I felt like my voice didn't matter. And it's like, I think in finding movement and finding ways that allow me to feel strong, that allow me to feel powerful and like show up as my best self, I have gained that confidence in myself. I have then learned how to use that additional confidence in myself to help people feel that same way. And in doing so, have learned that my voice is powerful and the things that I say are important, and that I am here for a reason, and like what I say does matter, and I shouldn't just like be quiet all the time.
1000% preach.
Preach, Meg. Preach, Meg. No, I love it.
I did not talk in middle school.
No, I think
neither did I. I was so quiet. I don't think I really came into myself until like high school.
My parents look at me now and are like, I don't know how you're the same person.
I think also just going off what Meg said, I think again she like really hit the nail on the head. I feel so similarly. I think that when you deal with struggles, battles, mental health, trauma, anything like that, you somehow have to grow a lot faster mentally or emotionally than other people that are fortunate enough to like not have dealt with that. But I think that there's so many things that come with that, such as anxieties, insecurities, you know, lack of confidence in so many different ways and forms. So I think this is one of those things where if you love it, you forget about the things that are keeping you so in your head that you look in the mirror at every day and you're like, I hate this. I wish this was different. I wish I was like this person. Because you know that you have to show up for other people. And that's something that I've really grown to love. I hated being looked at. I hated being in front of people. I was not confident at all. I, you know, always found ways to like have friends and make friends. I was in different circles. I went to different schools growing up. But I was also very shy and insecure. I just didn't like to be looked at. I didn't like any attention on me. And I feel like through fitness, through helping other people, you sort of forget those things. Like, and there are days where I've gone and cried to Meg about things that in the grand scheme of things don't matter at all. At all. But
they seem like they do in the moment, right?
Right. And it's like the only thing you can think about or the only thing that you can hyperfixate on.
We've hyperfixated on a lot of stuff.
Don't we all?
Many a thing, Meg. Many a thing, yes. And even in that, like it's nice to be able to know that I have such a safe and supportive community and best friends that I've made like throughout such a pivotal time. But yeah, like when you have to show up in front of other people, you forget that, you know, you don't look or feel your best because you're still showing up. It takes you outside of your head in a way where even walking into a studio, walking into a class and then leaving that class, like you could feel two totally different ways. And I used to experience that working and coming from the restaurant industry, still having to be in front of people and, you know, serve people and put on a friendly, happy face so that I could make some money. And at the end of the day, I would be like, oh yeah, like I was in such a bad mood. I was in such a bad mental state walking in. I think similarly and even more so fitness and being a fitness instructor and being able to be in that community and be so immersed in it, like really is such a good example of how powerful it can be, whether you're taking a class or teaching a class, no matter what kind of fitness it is. I really think that it like does something so powerful for your confidence, for your voice, for your mental state.
It really does. And you made a really good point, you know, the confidence, because with fitness, whether it's Pilates, whether it's yoga, especially if you're trying out for the first time and you create that routine, when you are doing something as far as movement fitness goes, right, and you're kind of like unlocking that part of yourself that maybe you had tucked away, you didn't even know was there, because getting back to your point, Meg, of not feeling as though you had a voice, like that conditioning at such a young age.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it still sticks with us, right? And I feel like I'm constantly unpacking, you know, like we're constantly growing, we're constantly evolving, and you never really like lose that. You just find different ways to silence it. I actually prefer, with that little voice in the back of your head that's telling you you're not worth it or you can't do this, right? I like to become best friends with it. And I imagine it like both of us, me and that voice at a party. And that is the only thing that I can, you know, I can do to really feel comfortable. Like we have to strike up a conversation.
Yeah.
So now it's like not necessarily tuning it out, but knowing how to like self-soothe in a way.
Yeah.
And Kira, you know, building that confidence, I think with movement, but just in life in general, when you're able to do hard things, when you're able to get up and coach and speak in front of a crowd of people, it teaches you that you can continue to do the next hard thing, something that you didn't even think that you're able to do, right? Like, hey, can I do a podcast? Can I do this event if I'm doing, like if you're putting on this huge yoga event for the very first time, right? And it's done. Obviously, you have like the nerves and the jitters and the planning,
syndrome.
the imposter syndrome. Like, can I
Yeah.
do this? It is so natural, and it's a very human, universal experience. But it's like, how do you kind of like quiet that out? And I feel like you don't necessarily quiet it out until
You have to like
you do
really
it.
fully acknowledge it and just
Yeah.
be like, I said yes to this thing, or I'm going to
Right.
fake it until I make it, or I
Yeah.
don't really have an option at this point. And then
Yeah.
it just helps validate your worth
Yeah.
and your confidence and your ability to do something like that. And it leaves you just kind of wanting more of that, especially if you come from a place of lacking any sort of confidence or lacking a voice, that as soon as you do something like that and you're like, people saw me. They like
Right.
saw me for who I am, or they listened, or they enjoyed my presence, my, you know, being somewhere where I was and I'm in front of people. It's like,
And like realizing what you have to offer.
yeah, right.
Completely.
And you know that you have a gift, and you guys both have gifts, but like doing the hard thing, it teaches you that you can always do the next hard thing.
Yeah.
And then it just builds up that resilience. It builds up that strength, that self-confidence, the self-empowerment, and you really start to fuel your own fire within you. And then once again, getting back to kind of like healing and nurturing that inner child, because that's what we need sometimes. You know, if we're constantly told, especially at a young age, you can't do this, change careers, you're going to fail. If you decide to do fitness, you're going to be, okay, well, I can't do this because that's what you've been told. But once you actually get out there and you do it, what happens? You're sitting here and you're feeling confident. You're able to put on events within the city. You guys, once again, getting back to kind of like how you are in so many different forms of movement, I'm curious, you know, finding your light and your inner voice and that confidence, you know, being with F45 and how that started for you, Meg. How has your relationship with movement and fitness changed now that you've started to experience other forms of movement as well, with cycle and then also Pilates?
Like when I first started at 45, like I was definitely in the mentality of like, go, and then go some more, and then go some more. Just kind of like when I first started at 45, like F45, like I feel like was my life in a lot of senses. Like I was teaching there, I was teaching at Crunch, I was doing so many things like one after the other, and I just wanted to see like how many times can I move in one day, and like to an extent where it was just like very unhealthy for me. And I think since then. And also that's why like FS8 is cool, because like it brings in that like low impact movement that is also really good for the body.
And that's been so new to us.
Yes,
really, I feel like
completely,
recently in the past year.
And like I'm dealing with like a knee problem right now from running, and a lot of like the movements that I'm doing at PT now are all things that like we would be doing in a Pilates class, which is like also cool to see that like if I had started that earlier in life, then I probably would have been able to run the Diplo 5K this week.
Or it's more just about the fact that like you are finding your next like joy in movement that's also longevity wise like so beneficial.
Yeah. But I think this is kind of interesting, but like with all the new modalities and everything, I think I've also learned how to be a little bit more intentional with, which is like a word Kira and I will like talk about so often, but being more intentional with like working out and like knowing that each thing that we are doing has its piece and like has its benefits And
in
that's just-
moderation
Yes, yes.
and with intention behind it, and not
But we don't need to do all 7 of the places we teach every day.
every day.
Yeah.
And that's new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's something new to both of us that we're like both getting better at and learning from. That I think has been also really good for me. Like if you run your body into the ground, even though you think you're doing so many good things, like too much of anything is a bad thing, even if it's a good thing.
Yeah.
So I know that like doesn't necessarily answer the question, but like that's what I took of the question, just because like from my time at F45 and like since like adding on different modalities, like that's kind of what I've taken from it, which I think is like really important on like a personal level. And then on like another personal level, but like teaching wise, like I've also fallen in love with like teaching. Like I've taught cycling since I was in college, but this is my first time like teaching spin at a actual spin studio rather than like a Crunch, a City Fitness type deal. And like, I mean, you took one of my classes and you said you got
Oh my
emotional
gosh, I
during it.
did.
And,
I
like,
did. Yeah.
That's how I used to take spin classes. And like, I would be going through something and like shed a tear on the bike. And I'm like, I want to bring this feeling to other people. So like, sorry that you got emotional, but like it made my heart so full that I was like, wait, like I had like an impact. Like I was able to like generate an emotion in someone, which like I love using that type of teaching like in all of my classes now. So like I think I've also like learned how to increase the way that like I speak to people and like how to phrase things and how to say things and like what I want to make people feel. I don't know.
No, that was perfect. Oh my gosh, I swear I was like, I'm not going to cry, but somehow I started to get teary-eyed because you really don't understand the power that you guys have. Because someone like you never know what the person was going through before they decided to sign up for your class. Like you ever think about, you know, and I'm pretty sure not just myself, but also people who have come up to both of you guys and they have shared like some really seminal stories with you, and they have found a light and what you've been able to offer them. And they have found that silver lining to get them through like a really tough, dark moment. And sometimes all you need is someone else to let you know that it's going to be okay. And that is what you guys do. Does it ever feel when you hear these stories, which I'm pretty sure you have, and like even me coming to you and saying like, hey, like you made me cry. Does it ever feel like a huge responsibility? Like, how do you carry that with such grace, but also not putting so much weight onto yourself, knowing that you really could be changing someone's life for the better?
I think it definitely like adds a little bit more pressure on me because like coming from like a perfectionist background, like you want everything to be perfect, but like the reality of it is nothing is or can be perfect. So knowing that like it's okay to make mistakes, but like also knowing that like I showed up whatever my best was that day and I gave 100% of that, even though that can change on a day-to-day basis. But I think it's like holding myself to that higher standard, but also knowing that nobody's perfect. I will make mistakes and that is okay. And it would be normal if I don't.
Yeah. Meg, you do an amazing job at letting everyone who's in your class know that it's okay to not be okay. You're like, hey, whatever is holding you back, let it go. But feel it. Sit with those feelings. And that's one of the things I love about being in solitude too, because you're able to really unpack and you really get to learn about yourself and your coping mechanisms and how you will pull yourself out of a dark hole.
Yeah.
But those moments when you're in class and someone else is giving you that encouragement, wow, what a feeling. But Kira, I kind of wanted to hear for you, like, how does that feel sometimes if you just never know what someone is going through and they found you? Like someone can sign up for one of your self-led yoga classes, and that could be their first time experiencing yoga. And maybe the day before that, they experienced a death within the family. They needed to make a change in their life. They needed to pivot, like carrying that, not necessarily, I don't want to say carrying the weight, but also knowing that there was a responsibility there. Like, how do you balance that and hold it for yourself?
I think it doesn't feel like added pressure. I think being a naturally sensitive and empathetic person, I think I've taken that weight on with strangers, people I love and I'm close to, people I don't love but know, basically anyone I feel empathy for. And so it feels pretty normal for me to like take that on. I also really like to hear people's stories and know them deeper. And I think I've been, you know, a lot of people will say I'm a closed book, but I'm happy to share some of the traumas that I've dealt with. It doesn't feel difficult to talk about because it just feels like that's just part of who I am or who I've like been. And so my way of being able to let people feel seen and heard, that's like my favorite thing to say. I love to make people feel seen and heard in any way that I can, is to try to like either relate to them or just empathize with the situation that they're in, letting them know that whatever stage they're in and whatever they might be dealing with, that there is another side to it. There's the other side, which is the end of that, or the looking back at the experience and being able to say, I'm so much stronger because of that. I like being able to be a small part in that for people. But it, again, like Meg said, it's like showing up as your best self, leaving everything else that is going on with you at the door, to be able to help other people. Or maybe you're not having your best day. You're showing up at whatever level you can at your best for that day. And that might only be 50%. You might also benefit from the other perspective, from the member
100%.
side, from the stories that you're hearing, because I think it gives perspective also. And you can then leave and be like, wow, not to say that I'm, you know, necessarily invalidating my own feelings or the things that I'm going through. But when you hear other people, it's like they relate to you, you relate to them. You might hear a perspective that you're like, holy shit, I never thought of that before. Or I feel so grateful for what I have in comparison to like things that other people might be dealing with in this moment. Or I've been there and I know that there's the other side, and all I can do is just like let them know that where they're at, like I've been or other people have been. And as a community, like we are here to show up for you, even if that doesn't mean you're airing all of your secrets and all of your, you know, everything that you're dealing with. But it's just a really nice way to feel like that 1% of someone getting through their own journey.
Yeah. And to do that, you have to create a safe and welcoming environment, because no one's going to want to share. You know, if it's very dogmatic and it's very just kind of like very narrow and rigid, the workouts, and it's like, okay, workout, go home. Like, why would I even want to share and sit down and talk to you guys?
Yeah. I feel like there's so many studios where you walk in and you're like looking around and you feel you're, you know, if you were to even make eye contact with someone else or one of the girls that like look super cute, and you might not be in your cutest outfit or set, and you're just like, okay, I'm just here and I know that I'm not going to be the best one, and maybe I won't be the worst one here in class, but I definitely don't feel like I'm part of this community. Or, you know, I think Philly's pretty good about that. It's such a small, tight-knit community, and such a small world here, but there are plenty of studios, plenty of classes I've been to where I've been like, I cannot wait to get out of here.
You just like, don't feel acknowledged.
I feel intimidated.
Yeah.
I feel not acknowledged. I feel like I'm just comparing myself to everyone in the room, and I'm leaving feeling even worse than I went in feeling. Or like even a like lack of confidence that is even larger than it was before you came into the class.
Yeah.
And I feel like I never want anyone to feel that way. I also can't help but be authentic when I'm teaching or when I'm not. And I feel like a lot of times that just comes off as like awkward or quirky, or like I just say things and people are like, you're crazy. But I don't know. I would hope that people find my maybe dry sense of humor entertaining and also comforting, because it doesn't have to be so serious.
It doesn't at all. And it's a very like endearing quality when someone gets to know you, right? Like, okay, this is Kira's sense of humor, this is Meg's sense of humor, and it just draws you closer, right? Especially when you're
crack jokes.
you're able to build that bond outside of just the class. And one of the things, I was talking to a friend about this the other day, and we were talking about building community and how, like, you know, getting older, sometimes it's hard to make friends. But when I am definitely, you guys know me, I will say I'm very extroverted. People will say, like, there's not a stranger to you, Aaron. Like, you will make friends no matter where you go.
100%.
If I'm taking class for the first time, I will literally just go up to someone and be like, hey, do you want to be my partner? You know how many times, like, bring your friend day, I did not have a friend.
And
I would just join in. I would just pick someone. I would just be like, hey, do you want to work out with me? Like, let's be friends. Like, let's be the friend today.
Yeah.
That takes a lot of confidence.
It really does.
Oh my gosh. But I also know like what it means, and getting back to your point, Kira, of sharing stories and having that perspective shift, right? Where you're able to connect with someone. That person there they might be nervous. Once again, they might be intimidated. And you guys can be doing all the things to make everyone feel welcome, but that's not going to change how that person feels internally. To go ahead and, you know, take that first step and be like, hey, do you want to work out with me? Hey, do you want to grab a cup of coffee?
And then they have someone like you walk up to them and like,
right.
they're like, oh my God, this
and I
made
think
my day.
Yeah, absolutely. And I also think that we're so different in the fact that like I wouldn't necessarily throw myself, like put myself out there the way that you do and have come to. And I admire so much the way that you talk to people and the way that you put yourself out there and are able to just immediately connect with people on so many different levels. And I know that Meg and I both have that ability, and we may not go out of our way to do that, but I think that it's so there. And I think that we find our own way to do that in a sense. Like I might not be like, and you're going to be the person that I'm going to talk to and make my friend today and make like, but I feel like I have that empathy, and I'm constantly observing other people and how they're reacting to the environment that we're in, that I will also kind of, again, getting back to like a people pleasing or empathy side of things. I feel like I will go out of my way to try to make someone laugh or make someone feel comfortable, or like if they're feeling intimidated by something, like I'll make them feel way better because I'll tell them something that's way more intimidating that I've been through than like, or, you know, just in one of those ways of just understanding someone, being able to like relate
takes
to
the
them.
pressure off.
But it's also interesting because
this fly
I feel
is
like
really trying to
I know, guys. There's for those of you guys who are listening, there's a fly that's just like flying around the studio, and I think it also kind of wants to get a workout in. Is really enjoying the conversation. What were you saying, Meg?
I think it's interesting because like I feel like if you were to put Kira and I in that like type of situation of like going up to someone and being like, hey, would you be my partner? Like not in a partner sense, but like if we were like teaching a class and had to ask someone something like that, yeah, like we would be totally fine. But like it's like if you take us, like if you take me at least outside of like that I'm the instructor here, then like my personality shifts a little bit and I get like more of that like timid sense because I'm like, wait, am I supposed to be doing that? Our CPR experience was wild. I don't know what part of it you were referring to, but it was wild.
Now, for it to become CPR certified, do you have to be going into profession, or can you just?
You can just go.
Yeah. I think it's probably recommended for like anyone and everyone to be certified, just because you never know what can happen in life.
Absolutely.
And you also never know like being in the experience yourself. It's a very fight or flight mode, but even knowing what to do and feeling comfortable or confident enough to be like, okay, I know the steps, like it's just coming back to me and I'm just going to do it, because if no one else can, like, what am I going to do? Stand there and say, I know how to do it, but like, you know, it's no one has had 100 experiences of being able to give CPR unless you're in the medical field, in the emergency field, you know. I feel like it's like you just have to do it.
Yeah.
Okay. So when I decide to go ahead and do it, I'm calling the both of you because I want you there.
For a class
yes,
together.
Please. We're going to name the doll.
Perfect.
Yeah. I want you guys there with me to do this. Kind of shifting gears a little bit because we've talked so much about the positives of fitness. What are some of the challenges? And I kind of want to go back for a second before I fully ask the question. Showing up positive day to day, having that curiosity, the open mind that, you know, you can go into with a very fresh perspective, interacting with someone and hearing their story and how that impacts you and how your story impacts them. And then just having those check-ins with people while they're taking the class, right? But for you getting up in the morning just to begin with, is there like a baseline that you show up for yourself to be able to show up for other people? Like, would you say because one of the things I love about the both of you is that you guys are always just so jovial. Like, you have such a calming presence, but you're always just so excited and so energetic. But that's not every day. And I'm sure, just like the rest of us, we're all humans, that there are days where we wake up and we're just like, I don't feel it today. I don't feel like working out. I don't want to do this run. I don't want to do this race. I don't feel like necessarily having to be the voice of reason or be that super positive person that people are expecting me to be. But I always have a baseline for how I want to show up for myself, and then how in turn that will translate to showing up for my community, my friends, my family. What is that baseline for you guys, especially in the moments where you're not feeling it? Because we all have those days.
For me, I think a big part that like kind of helped me with this in the past 2 years was moving out and living alone, because in like like a job where you're constantly having to show up for other people and like constantly having to like put on a show of some sort at least, and like being that positive person.
It
like
is a performance.
Yeah.
Sure.
I like when I was living at home, like my mom probably has said it to Kira before she's said it to me, but like I'm not the nicest like I wasn't the nicest person when I would like get back home, because like I would shut down, and I'm like she would try to have like a conversation, I'd be like ignore, like not the nicest, and I'm like
Also your mother,
I know.
you know,
Yeah,
we love
yeah.
very much. Shout out Tara.
Yeah.
We love her.
With
Hi,
all
Tara.
of that said, like I just like didn't really have the energy to give once I was like out of the job.
Right.
You know, like when I'm in the studio, it's on. When I'm out of it,
Yeah.
no.
Because you're giving so much energy
Yeah.
to that in that room for that
Exactly.
class.
So I do think I definitely, so then when I moved out and like having the ability to live alone and to go home and like not have to talk to anyone and like kind of do whatever it is I wanted to do for me, I think that has helped a ton. Just being able to not have to show up for anyone and just show up for myself in whatever way that looks like. Maybe it's literally just laying on my couch and scrolling on my phone.
Yes.
And that's perfect.
Yeah.
That's absolutely perfect. So I do think that has helped in the ways that I show up for others. In terms of like showing up for myself, I just am obsessed with working out, or like working out never is like too much of like a chore for me, just because I do think it just brings me so much joy on the other side. And I think I always go back to that feeling of like how I feel after, and I'm obsessed with that feeling. So like getting myself out of bed, doing the hard things at some point in the day, I will always make sure to get it done. But that's just like a me thing. And I think again, it's just the obsession with working out. And I think there was another part of that question that I forget, but those are the two biggest things.
Yeah, and thank you for sharing. And I love the fact that where you're kind of like, you just want to like sit for a moment. You know, like sometimes you just don't want to do absolutely anything.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're in this culture where you constantly have to be doing something. And if you're not doing anything, if you're not seeing the results of something immediately, it's like, okay, am I actually even moving or making progress in my life? But sometimes it's in those still moments, it's in the plateau where there's so much growth, and the small moments of recharge. Like you just sitting down and maybe, like you just sitting down, maybe, I don't know, you're ordering something, you're getting takeout, you're watching a movie, you're, you know, mindlessly scrolling on TikTok, because I have those moments too where like, I don't want to do anything for some reason. Like this is going to be my R&R. Yeah, and you have to show for yourself in those ways. Yeah, to be able to invest into the people that are around you. Yeah, because you're putting out so much energy. Yeah,
1,000%. I think. I always joke about this, but like I love to rot. I love to lay. I love being able to have those recharge moments, and I think that there's so much going around. I mean, I know for Meg and I, like we are constantly going from one place to the other, doing different things, working out.
Can I also take a side note, and for anyone listening, just let everyone know that Kira does have a full-time job that is not in fitness, in addition to working at like 4 fitness studios.
I do.
Just putting that out there. I don't think that was touched on, and I don't
think it was touched on either. I do have a full-time job, and I work at 4 different fitness studios. I think being busy for me has been really, really good for my mental health. I don't have the chance. There's such a fine line. I've found that rest and recovery is really important, but I think there was a period of time where rest and recovery was like so scary, or being alone for too long was really not beneficial for me. And I've always kind of been one to hustle or try to keep myself busy. And I think that there is also that pressure and the stigma that like you should always be like saying yes to things, going and doing things. You can sleep when you're dead, you know, like just trying to like keep yourself busy or whatever it is, for work, for making money, for having a social life. If you're not going out and saying yes, like you're going to lose those opportunities to do it, or you're going to miss out on the best night ever, or the best experiences or stories ever. And so, you know, I've found that there's such a balance in terms of saying yes, doing things where I'm like, I'm so happy that I said yes to this. This was an experience where like I could have said no, and it would have been just as easy for me to say, I just want to lay on my couch and not do anything. But I'm so happy that I ended up going or saying yes to this. And then there's also times where you need to set those boundaries for yourself to recharge so that you can show up in ways that are going to be beneficial for yourself and also for other people, especially in this industry.
brought up a good point, and I kind of want to touch on that too before I lose it.
Yeah.
And we talked about this earlier. We were talking about intention, and then also knowing the intention that you have with yourself in those rest and recharge moments. And then when you finally say yes to getting out there and like, okay, I'm going to attend this event. I'm going to attend whatever it is that you've been invited to. What is it? Knowing yourself and knowing when you're sitting in that rest and recovery and you know what your values are, the things that you like to do, your activities, your hobbies. What is it? Like, how do you guys define intention and in turn be able to show up? And what are you saying yes to?
I have work to do in this aspect. I will say yes to all things fitness typically, but it's the other side of things that is also just as equally as important if we're being honest, and having a fun social life and doing those things. And in college, I definitely did not say yes to almost anything and isolated myself a lot of times. And I think it's only ever probably within the past 2 years, it was honestly since meeting Kira, Nadia, Farouk, those guys definitely changed my life for the better in terms of knowing that it was okay to say yes to those other types of things. And again, that they are just as equally as important. Yes, physical health is important, but so is mental health, so is social health. And having people to support you in other ways and just living life. Living life is so freaking important. And I am still on my journey of learning how to live life to the fullest in all aspects. So when I have a better answer to that in a year from now, I'll get back to you.
We'll have you back on the podcast. We'll do it a part 2.
Perfect.
Part 2, yes.
But it's interesting trying to, because as you're going through life in general and you learn who you are, you learn your values, your standards, and setting those boundaries with people, you learn what to say no to and what to say yes to. Sometimes I have become so it took a while for me to understand and kind of grapple with the concept of I don't have to say yes to everything, and I can't. I don't have to be everywhere. Sometimes what is it? There's a saying or a quote. It's your absence sometimes can be a gift or a blessing, because when people finally
my presence is a present.
Yeah. Your presence is a present. No, I think that's it. You got it. But your presence really is a present, and knowing those places and occupying those places where your presence is going to add more to the room. Right. And you're going to walk away and be okay, that is what I needed.
Yes.
Because you can have friends, you can have a partner, you can just be around, you can have this community, but sometimes even a little nuanced part of it where it can be draining. And it's I didn't like that experience. I didn't like how I showed up for myself in that way because I know who I am. So realizing, okay, I'm going to say no to this and redefining that internal intention. Because once again, getting back to intentionality for yourselves and having that rest and recovery, you're defining what it is for yourself that you want to say yes to. And I feel like you had a great answer, Meg. I don't want you to think that you didn't, boo. I absolutely love everything that you're saying, but knowing, did it take one particular thing or in your growth within movement, but also in that rest and recovery phase in those moments, realizing what you're going to say yes to and what you're going to say no to?
It's usually just the things for example, I will go out to the bars and get a Diet Coke just because, again, I say yes. I'm not going to say yes to something that I know is going to make me feel worse on the other side of it. But that, there's also that whole other side of just living and doing what is fun in the moment sometimes. And that doesn't have to be a daily thing. So yeah, but a lot of my choices are based off of how is it going to affect me tomorrow.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. And I think the same way, because you have a very regimented way of living, and a very balanced, healthy lifestyle. So it's if you go out that Friday night, maybe you're not able to show up that Saturday morning and do that class and be able to give your best energy for yourself, but also the people that you're teaching. So it's knowing those things of, okay, I can say yes to this because I know I'm going to be recharged and I'm going to feel good. And once again, Kira, the boundary thing, even in those moments of I can still show up here, but there is going to be a limit because the next day I have this way of life, and how I want to show up in the world.
But then it goes back to what Kira said earlier, and that sometimes the saying no is just as easy as how hard it is to say yes. But sometimes you're so grateful that you said yes. I didn't ask you about the Rufus concert yet, but you probably had the time of your life, and it could have been so easy to just stay home that night too.
Absolutely. Well, the venue had some issues, but we can go into that. But it ended up being great. I'm so grateful that I was thought of for a last minute ticket. Going back to what you were just saying, I will call out the fact that like I don't have the best practice with boundaries. I actually don't know what boundaries are at all. I think I said that word to sound a lot smarter in the moment of the conversation. I'm learning how to set boundaries. I'm learning how to say no, not people please, and also not say yes and spread myself too thin, which clearly I've done a little bit just because I have 5 jobs. But it's because I like the experiences of being able to like, at least in work and in professions, I like being a jack of all trades. I like being knowledgeable in so many different aspects that I can always be a reliable source for people in that way, like being able to show up and help in whatever way I can, especially like for Meg, for my people. I am a little bit more balanced in terms of my lifestyle than I would say Meg is, and we both know that.
Yeah,
I mean,
but that's
it's very
also why, like,
and
I've said it to Kira so many times. Like, I admire her so much, and I think that's why, like, even within the past like year or two, that like I have gotten like a little bit better. Not like crazy,
fully.
but like
I mean,
definitely
it's
a little
so
bit
fun
better.
to like have watch.
Yeah, but because like I see them, and I'm like, I want to be able to do that without like having any feelings of anxiety. when, like they shouldn't be there.
I think there's also a huge part that we're not even like brushing the surface of, which is again coming back to that intention. Like I'm just now learning how to listen to my body. I'm just now learning to say it's okay for me to not be at 100% to do 3 workouts a day.
And your body is probably thanking you for that too.
And you know what I found is that I actually do a lot better afterwards if I take a day of rest, or if I'm maybe just doing 1 workout, which sometimes people aren't even doing 1 workout, you know, if they're getting a workout in a couple times a week, like that's amazing. And so I think like being able to listen to my body a little bit more, which I think we're both practicing a lot, has helped me find that balance. Because if I do go out, or if I really want to go out and then I'm thinking about I have to work out tomorrow morning, I have to go do this, you know, obviously teaching, like that's a commitment, and that's something that I want to show up my best self as. I mean, you know, everyone's experienced a hungover teacher before. It happens. And sometimes it makes it a little bit more fun. And there's always a story to share with your class. I think it also helps create a very real, balanced environment. Like knowing that someone went out, you're not the only one that's showing up to class being like, I hope I don't smell like alcohol seeping through my pores, you know? And then you're like, oh my God, my instructor also goes out. They're not just doing this full time and like an Energizer bunny. And every day they're going to bed at 8 p.m. and eating protein and vegetables. And then, you know, like there has to be balance. And I think it just helps people feel, again, it like creates that safe environment where people just feel like they can relate a little bit more, where they can feel comfortable, where they can show up, and maybe they're not their best self, but they know that like you're also a real person as well. You're not just like this structure of what you're supposed to be like as, you know, a teacher or in the fitness industry, or if you're not that, then you're nothing, or that you're less than because you're, you know, because you decided you wanted to go out. So yeah, in terms of boundaries, I think that I say yes because I don't want to lose out on experiences and opportunities. I say yes because I'm a people pleaser. And sometimes I regret saying yes to those things, but it's also, it helps me learn those boundaries and what to say yes to, what to say no to. And I think, again, like Meg said, it's just as easy to say no and then wish that I had said yes. And so just trying to find the balance there.
And sometimes I find that like when you do say yes to something that you weren't even considering, or you know, you didn't have
it, like, is
plans to do, it's like the
best.
best experience. Sometimes like the plan night out, or just like the plans,
Yeah.
you know, they aren't always as
Well, you
the
have
most grand
expectations.
expectation. Yeah. Sometimes the expectation, it doesn't always live up to the expectation.
And I feel like that happens to us a lot, where we're having this, I'm so sorry to cut you off.
No, you're fine. Yeah.
Where we're having this night out and we're like, this is planned, we're gonna have so much fun, and then like something gets in the way or something happens, or we go out and it's like
Meh.
like we all could have just been at home. I would have
100%,
rather sat on the couch, and we've definitely
Yeah.
experienced that. And I know you've experienced moments where you've been like, I don't think this was worth me like going out and drinking for having a couple drinks.
But it's life.
Right. And I feel like.
But it's also being kind to yourself too, Kira.
Yeah.
In a way. And
totally. And then also, I think there have been so many times where we've gone and we've been like, we still talk about nights that we've had that have been so spontaneous that suddenly, are stories for months and months and months that we just keep reliving and like giggling about.
Yeah.
I think my New Year's resolution the past like 5 years was probably to just be more spontaneous and to also drink more water.
Yeah.
I'm not doing
Where's
that.
your water bottle?
Right. You haven't touched any water. You do sometimes have like the best moments of your life when, you do something that was that wasn't planned.
Yeah.
I find that I have like the best time where I'm just at home and I'm like getting cozy and my friend's like, hey, Aaron, we're in the city. Come meet up with us. I'm kind of like, I don't want to. But then it's being so gracious with yourself too and realizing, especially like Kira being jack of all trades and juggling so much, like sometimes you just want to have that moment of like, I don't want to be on. Like I want to be off and giving yourself permission to do that and not feel bad.
Should we talk about the texting? Because that's when I'm off.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So for the viewers and listeners, Kara never responds to me.
It's not just you. I promise it's not just you. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not one person in particular.
But I respect that so much because I'm exactly the same way sometimes. Like I know, like I was texting you guys constantly about this podcast because, it's important to me and I want to make sure like we're locked in.
No, of course. And it was important to me too. You just couldn't read my mind while I was laying on the couch being off.
Yeah. But like you have people in your circle and that's why like intention, like being intentional about the people that is in your circle, that is in your community, because they would understand that. Like never once did I ever take a personal. I mean, I know I messaged you on Instagram. I was like, hey girl, like are we still recording? I want to confirm because I need to lock in like this date. I want to make sure that we're good to go. If it's going to be round table or just one. But like when you oh gosh, it gets back. Oh god, I feel like it goes back into kind of, the self-empowerment and self-confidence and doing hard things and
a full circle moment.
Full circle moment. You know who you are through the hard times and the moments where you sit by yourself. You're able to literally just give yourself permission to just feel anything and also allow people into your life to show up for you in the same way that you're showing up for you. I used to feel so guilty and bad for sometimes if I wasn't actively texting someone in the moments of darkness for me or just moments of rest. And I would apologize for it. I'm like, hey, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry I didn't get back to you. I'm sorry I didn't call you. My friend's like, Aaron, it's okay. Like, we know you. We know where you're going. Maybe not we understand where you're going through and we are allowing you the space. It's it's not from a place of love. Yeah. Exactly. And when you're able to realize who you are, it's going to be reflected back into your circle and your community, and the people are going to be able to understand you. So giving yourself permission to just be and have those moments of recharge and rest, and the people that will love that about you and accept that about you will be there no matter what, where you don't even have to apologize for not replying back to a text because they know that this is the time for Kira's R&R. This is the time for you to rest. And it takes some time and intention cultivating, that group of people, but they get it. The girlies who get it.
Shout out to anyone I haven't responded to in the last 3 business days. Like I will get back to you for sure. I just, it's that's what happens when you have 5 jobs.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
Your brain is just all over the place and you're sometimes battling your own things, but then also just like getting distracted, like having the brain of a cashew.
Yeah. And life just be lifing for all of us. Like we're all human,
life be lifing.
And give ourselves permission and and not have so much weight because we're not responding immediately. Like sometimes it may take me like a day to get back to you. I've learned that I don't always like texting. Like I would prefer a call now that I've gotten older. I'm like, I used to text all the time, but now sometimes I'll even send like a voice recording.
I love voice memos.
Yeah.
I love voice memos too. And I love sharing them with Meg. I feel like it's one of those things where we're so connected to our phones. We're so engrossed in technology in so many different ways that like, I feel like more recently I get overstimulated by it that like I find myself like literally tossing my phone and being like, I just like can't even look at this screen. And then of course I'll pick it up 10 minutes later and I'm like, wait, this is why, because you know, it's like a constant, it's like a
full-time job.
Yes.
Almost.
It's us being so into our phones and social media and stuff. It's addicting. It's so addicting. And so like, I feel like I'm consciously like, put your phone down, like either hang up and hang out, you know, if I'm in presence of other people or I'm doing something, like I don't need to be on my phone. Or even if I'm alone, it's like sometimes I do take that moment to say like, I don't even know what kind of response I can give right now, or like I'm not having a hard time like committing to this right now. Maybe I'll feel differently. And then of course sometimes like the day or time gets away from me and I'm like, fuck, I needed to respond to this person because I care about them, and it's not like I want them to think that I was ignoring them.
Yeah,
but it's
then
like
one day turns to 3 days, turns to 5 days, and then I get anxious about replying.
That and then it's like a constant cycle of being like, I'm so sorry, and then they respond right away, and then you don't have the chance to respond right away, and then it's like, sorry again. Or it's where you feel like it's like, okay, at this point it's just there's no relevance to responding now, and then you know you just don't. Or
hey, sorry, I'm just seeing
constantly
this.
I'm like, hey,
like,
I was in the shower for the last 5 days. So like,
but that's when like you just have to allow, you know, life to just happen. Right. And honestly, just kind of like give yourself the grace and just be like, hey, I got busy, or I just didn't have the energy to communicate. And being honest with yourself, and also just like being honest with the people around you too. But like allowing this space for them to just experience life, because people get busy.
I think it's also, it comes back to intention as well. Like I've found getting a little bit older, and like we were talking about making friends as adults, and I'm so fortunate to be in a community where I found my best friends. So like for me, an intention is like showing up for those people, showing up in ways that make sure that like the people that show up for me, I can show up for them as well. And sometimes that is me acknowledging that I have to be better and making that intentional effort to respond even when I don't have the energy to, because most of the time, like it ends up being the easiest conversation that can end once you have a response. And, or, you know, again, being honest with the people that you're talking to, or being honest with yourself in your response. I mean, and it could be anything from like, something so silly or dumb, or just like a question that you're just like, I don't know, haven't got open this text, to something that like takes a little bit of thought or effort. And for me, it's like something that I'm trying to be really intentional in is pouring my energy into people that pour their energy into me. And part of that is responding to text.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like that mutual investment.
And you know that I love you.
Yeah, I know you do. I love you too. It really is that mutual investment, though. Really just like the grace, and be like, hey, it's okay. It is okay. And we just like, we pick up where we left off, you know? They're like, hey, Aaron, it's okay. But also knowing the people where you're able to be vulnerable with and admit that too. That takes a lot of trust. As well, and accountability for yourself, and also realizing like, okay, this person is someone that I can literally just say, I was busy, or I just wasn't feeling it, or I was having like a mental health day for myself. And once you find that, I feel like it is, once again, getting back to intention, you only want that continuously in your life because people are pouring into you. So once you see how they show up for you, and you're showing up for yourself, and that's creating respect, like that's how they're going to show up for you too. If you're very honest, they can only be honest with you, and also just give you that space. So I'm kind of curious, which is kind of like the perfect segue, you know, creating and figuring out who you are, knowing what to say yes to, what to say no to, creating that community and that friendship circle that is, you know, you're mutually investing into, but that really is supporting you, and that is loving and kind, and, you know, you can have a good time with, but also like that brutal like that radical candor and being very honest with each other. Has that, being in fitness and creating a lifestyle for yourself that is pretty healthy, I want to say, right? And creating and cultivating healthy habits, has that influenced like dating at all for you guys? And then also just kind of like when you're meeting new people and they might want to, you know, you see that there's potential to build a friendship there.
Yeah.
Are those things that you consider?
I'm going to say something and then Kira can take it away. But I was telling Kira the other day, I'm like, wow, like I need to find myself a boyfriend that will like do a HYROX with me and like center everything like around fitness and like be active with me and do this and do X, Y, Z. And she's like, Meg, maybe you need someone who will like cheer you on at those races. Mm-hmm. And I think that had like changed my mentality about kind of that entire question. Yeah. Because I was like, no, I need someone to like do this with me. But like, because my life is so centered around fitness, like I do think a relationship in the future of someone who like, yes, prioritizes those things and cares about his health is going to be extremely important. But like, it doesn't have to be their life too. And like, they can just like help it facilitate mine, if that makes sense, and like be the person, like be my cheerleader type deal. Yeah. So I think it was only recently that we had like talked about that, and I was like, wait, that's kind of true, and it shifted my perspective about like relationships and fitness. Yeah,
and you being passionate about fitness, would you say that like they would also have to be passionate about something and active too? Yeah,
active, but not passionate in the way that Meg is.
But like if they wanted to do a HYROX or a marathon, of course, I mean that would be
like not need you to cheer me on.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think for you having some balance, having someone to be able to be supportive of your lifestyle, but also show you the other side of that
was like a mental switch the day you said that to me. I was like, wait, that is so true.
I also think that you're not going to find anyone as elite of an athlete and like as fired up to work out.
One of our members once told me he like met his wife at Orange Theory, and I'm like, that's crazy. Like, where's mine? He's like, you might just intimidate everyone. I'm like, you're probably right.
Yeah,
because they're looking at you, they're like, oh yeah, she's a boss. Right.
Absolutely.
No. Yeah.
Okay, Kira, your turn.
My track record in dating and my choices in the people that I've surrounded myself have really varied and have not necessarily been in the same realm or parallel to my interests, passions, etc. I always liked someone that was opposite of me. I always liked trouble. You know,
like a bad boy type, would you say?
Well, I mean, like, what's bad boy versus toxic? I don't really know if, you know, I mean, it depends on how much longer we have in this podcast if you want to get into that. But I think, yes, as I've grown more into the fitness industry, like I would like someone that does want to try workouts or go to classes, someone that I could be like, hey, do you want to go take this class and like let's go get breakfast or like let's have a day or you know let's do nothing but like first we're gonna do this, and it's nice to have that person to be able to do that with. I don't know what that's like, but when I find that, hopefully it will be really nice to have someone to be able to do that with.
Someone who has like similar priorities and like cares about their health and everything like that.
But I think that also like I love, you know, I am prioritizing balance in life and being able to do both sides of the spectrum in terms of being fitness and workout and, you know, health obsessed versus being able to live my life and not feel guilty for wanting to go do things or wanting to do nothing.
Completely.
And finding that for myself, like I think it's so important to have someone else that is able to find that balance, almost more so in a way where like I'd prefer them to not be so fitness obsessed because one, I think there is that like comparison or competitive side. And then two, you want it to feel okay to want to do the other things. And I think having a partner to show you that those things are okay. I mean, you know, I think, again, it's finding that balance. Like, you don't want someone that's an absolute partier that gets mad at you for not wanting to go out until 4 o'clock in the morning when you have a lifestyle where inevitably you do have to wake up early. My body clock, like, doesn't allow me to sleep in anymore. I'm up anyway. And typically I feel great and good and enough to, like, be able to get up, and that's part of how I show up for myself is like getting up, moving my body, working out, doing those things. But I think having someone that's able to like in a healthy way show you the other side and show you that it's okay to not feel guilty for not doing anything or not feel guilty for wanting to go out. Like I think there was a time, I don't know, where I've dated other people that have been almost better or stronger or faster or able to run longer or whatever it is, where I'm like, now I'm annoyed and now we're in a fight and you don't even know it, but now I resent you. You know what I mean? And it's like, that's not their fault, but I also want someone to like look at me and be like, damn, like you do a good ass job and you're strong as fuck.
Or you're both able to compliment each other.
Yeah,
like
absolutely. Or like do the things with them where it's not like intimidation, where it's not feeling like I need to keep up with this person.
I agree. I think I went the same thing too, personally. Like my ideal, okay, well, I'll ask you guys this and then I'll kind of go into mine.
Yes.
But like with a partner, what would be your ideal like day off Saturday morning? If you, what would be your ideal Saturday morning?
Okay, can you tell me what the weather is?
Oh, it's definitely not like what the weather is today.
Okay,
like the humidity.
I think I really think that the weather is so like important for this question.
Okay, so maybe like high 60s.
Okay,
nice little breeze going.
Sunny.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, very sunny. It's just like a spring day.
Spring.
Like, spring day. You and potential partner, or you and your partner, like what is it that you're doing on that day off, that Saturday morning? Well, that's Saturday. Sorry, not Saturday morning.
I think my ideal day, waking up, going and working out, taking a class, or I think taking a class. I love like a weekend class. I think it brings such good vibes. Sometimes like on the weekends, I don't go to the gym because I'm like, I don't really feel like thinking. I feel like it's like, it takes a lot of internal effort, and maybe it's like my first time that I don't have to be on because I'm not teaching, and instead I just want to be able to like go and be in a community and listen to loud music and just do what everyone else is doing and feel motivated by the energy around me. So we'd be going to a workout class, and then from that workout class, depending on what it was, we'd either be going home, showering, and then making or getting breakfast or lunch. I feel like sometimes I don't eat until like 1 o'clock by the time I'm done working out and figuring out what I want to do. But, and then from then, like, I'm open to anything. I'm an all-purpose girl. You know, I like to work out. I'll take any sort of class. I love to go out and eat. I love to get a good cocktail. Like sometimes I want to get a little loose and like feel something. And so I think something in that realm of being able to work out, get that not out of the way, but enjoy that, feel the endorphins, feel really good about myself, not have to think about it for the rest of the day, and then be able to go and enjoy the day, do something fun, or go home and rot on the couch and order something really good to eat and not feel guilty about it. And like, just have that person with you to enjoy the day with.
I love that.
That's so unspecific. I mean,
but it's specific to you. Like, I love that. And like what your ideal day would be.
I'm open.
Like.
I'm open to doing anything as long as I can get a workout in the morning. You don't even have to go with me, honestly.
Just that workout.
If you give me 1 hour of like, go do the workout because I know that you want to, and like maybe I'm joining you or maybe I'm not, but I know that this is going to make you feel better and you won't be a monster after. Like it'll be amazing and you won't have to think about it or feel like, you know, you're missing something from your day. Like, give me 1 hour and then you could tell me we're driving in the middle of the country and I would be like, I'm in.
I love that. How about you, Meg?
Okay, so I had some time to think while you were talking also. I think that I would first get up a little bit earlier, assuming that my said partner likes to sleep a little bit more than me, and go take a spin class by myself, but then have him meet me at the gym and then we just both lift, and that could be like separately or together. It doesn't matter, but like we're both in the same vicinity. And then we go get coffee somewhere. And then we go back home and make breakfast. And then we can just chill for a little bit. And then we'll go on a walk along the Schuylkill River Trail or wherever they want to go. Wherever I am. We'll
really general.
Like they're just walking.
She actually has her path.
I was going to say, at least 3 miles of a walk.
It's already mapped out.
Yes.
I follow you on Strava. So I can. Yes. I see
You
the
walked
path.
here.
I'll meet you. I
3.5
know.
miles in the
I
heat.
showed up and I was like, oh my gosh, with her Wendy's. Yeah.
I mixed diet lemonade and diet Sprite. It was so
Okay.
good.
Gosh, I love that. Yeah.
Okay, back to my imaginary date.
Yeah.
We go
So
on our
you've been
walk.
chilling, and then
And then we
went
go on
the
a walk, yeah, like after breakfast, like just chill and hang.
Okay.
And then we'll go on our walk. And then after the walk, we can come back and like chill
Yeah.
and hang and maybe like make some lunch. And then for some reason, I'm really feeling like go to the movies, like
Yeah.
recliner chair vibes. And
Yeah.
then that's all.
Yeah. I love that. I love both of what you guys just said in your ideal day because like it shows what's important to you and kind of like that time that you invest into yourself because someone else is going to match that energy, right? When they see how you're showing up for yourself, they can only help by
show up for themselves in that hour that I'm showing up for myself. Because
Yeah.
if they're showing up for themselves and I'm ready to hang out,
Yeah.
then that's not fair.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
They need
very-
to make it at the same time that I'm
Yeah.
making time for myself. It doesn't have to be what I'm doing. It
Yeah.
can be for
Yeah.
themselves, but
Fair.
like when I'm ready to hang out, I'm ready to hang out. I'm not ready to wait around for you.
Yeah, yeah. And they realize that that's important though. Like I feel like you have to have that, at least in my opinion. Like what do you, I think
I'm half kidding
Yeah.
for anyone listening. I am. I'm kidding mostly.
Oh my gosh. But like, I think that once someone sees like what's important to you, like them knowing that fitness is important to you guys and maybe like starting that day off like a workout, that means so much. And when you have that reciprocated energy of like, okay, I'm going to let my boo do her thing. I'm going to let Kira and Meg do their thing, but I'm here to support you. Oh, that is so loving. But they are kind of, it's almost admirable for them to see that because they're watching like the life that you've cultivated for yourself, this routine, this schedule that you have for yourself. And someone can only, if they're your equal, you know, and they're matching that energy that you're putting out there, which is what you're going to attract because you're only attracting what you're putting out into the universe. You're going to manifest that energy that will automatically just seem so seamless. That's the reason why I asked, because like knowing you guys and kind of like how disciplined you can be, but also just love having like that shade of gray and just like enjoying yourselves and just being human and enjoying life, like what it would. And I know personally, like if I'm out with you guys and someone would like try to approach me, I'm like, oh wait, like I would give them like a full scan of like, wait, maybe not, like what are you into? Like what are your interests? What are your hobbies? Because these girls, like, no, like they are bosses. They are getting it. Are you into fitness? Do you do FS8? Do you do Pilates? Yeah.
Wait, can
But,
I
like-
hear yours?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Ideal Saturday.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. My ideal Saturday, it would be very similar to you guys. Like I would love to wake up and do a class, whether that's a spinning class, whether that's doing F45, or if we're just going to get a run in. You know,
My guess was that you were going to say a run.
Would you
Yeah.
want your partner to do the run with you?
that would be ideal. But I think when it comes to fitness, I would want them to just be involved in some sort of movement. It doesn't have to be running. I think they would have to have some sort of fitness that they're passionate about.
One of my favorite things to see on Strava is like when someone's like doing their long run and then their partner will like bike next to them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's love right there.
That is love.
Yeah,
I would be loved.
I would love it. Like that is perfect for me.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to be, and that's the thing, like, because I've been kind of going over this as trying like actively dating now because I recently just downloaded Hinge. So it's like I'm kind of like relearning like, okay, like what are my standards, like what are my values and how I want, someone to show up for me. But you don't have to be invested into running. Like I can own that. Like I can own running.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. But you can be like a power lifter or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Just be passionate about something. And like, you don't have to be like super chiseled or anything like that. But like, I want you to be healthy.
Yes.
I think that's the
so
biggest
fair.
thing.
That's so
Absolutely.
fair.
Like I want to be able to sit down and be like, hey, like, how was your workout?
Yeah.
It was good. How was your workout? Well, it wasn't the best. Oh my gosh. Tell me about your highs and your lows, your roses and your thorns. That would, my ideal morning would be getting a workout in, no matter what that is. I can do mine separately or we can do it together. You're at the gym, I'm out on the run, and then we come back. Coming back, showering, and then maybe going out to like the farmer's market.
I like how we both
Like-
forgot the shower part.
Wait, I
Like-
said it. Did you? I said
Kira
it.
said it. She said it.
I
Yeah.
said it, but it's mostly because I just
Yeah.
get really gross when I work out, and so
Okay,
like I
fair.
feel like if I'm gonna go do anything,
Yeah.
there are plenty of times where I
Exactly.
will go in my sweaty
Like I want to
clothes,
get that.
but
Yeah.
Okay.
Mostly it's like I like to like put on even comfier clothes than the athletic wear that I'm wearing.
Valid.
That's right.
That's valid. Okay, you would shower.
So you've showered.
I would shower, take my 20-minute shower.
Perfect. Setting the mood beforehand.
Setting the mood, exactly. Have a candle and the music playing.
Perfect.
So it's after that, breakfast.
Right. Yeah. A very long breakfast. I love the farmer's market. I love going shopping. Yes. I love going shopping for like preserves, some jam, and like trying that out.
The
That'd be so
farmer's market
cool.
is just so romantic.
It is, right? Yeah. You get like some flowers. It'd be super cute.
I love that.
Yeah. And then after that, potentially like maybe going shopping, like I love if we're in Center City, like
spending your or his money.
I think like we're both spending money on each other. I think it's very
That's
equal.
a really, really great answer because
I'll put
my
card
answer
down.
would have been
not
mine.
Right. Well, I mean, I guess like if I do breakfast or, brunch, okay, like, hey, I'll grab this for you elsewhere, right? Like if we're going shopping, like my clothes like, cause I'm going to look good for you, right? But that would be a nice shopping venture. And then maybe after that, just kind of like coming home and just resting. If we have plans to do something with friends, that would be nice as well. But I think I really do enjoy kind of like the simple things, and maybe once in a while getting dressed up, going to like a nice, I don't know, something like doing an event, like let's go to a museum or I think just someone who's like fun and who's curious and kind of wants to take on it. Like my day can start off, this is what I have planned, but I also love like a side adventure and a side quest and someone who's just like down for that. Like we can start off with like breakfast in the farmer's market, but like, hey, this is happening in Northern Liberties. If we're in Center City, like, okay, let's just go check it out. Something very random and spontaneous.
Well, I think because we're all so regimented in routine and we have such a routine throughout our days, like, there is that really nice, exciting thought behind spontaneity and like doing something that you weren't expecting. And I'm not a super decisive person, but I'm always down to do whatever if someone else is or they have something in mind that they want to do. So that sounds so nice.
Agreed. I'm also someone who really just enjoys learning, and I love learning what makes something special to someone else.
Love that.
So someone who can show me something that I had no knowledge of and be like, hey, this is my world. Like, okay, please. Because I feel like I would kind of like take full control and be like, okay, this is my world. This is my running community. This is what I love doing. I love going to films. This is like the podcast, stuff like that. So someone who's actually able to take me out of my world for a second and just show me everything about them and what they love and what they enjoy doing. And I can just kind of like reciprocate that.
Yeah.
That would be my ideal Saturday.
I love
that.
Thanks, guys. I love all of our days. And then we can do like a triple date.
Perfect.
Yeah. When we find the right one. We'll
Find us the people.
Right. We'll do our workout and they can just be out doing something else, right?
Exactly.
Getting us breakfast and preparing breakfast for us.
Perfect.
This has been great. We're nearing the end of our discussion, which I'm actually so sad about because I feel like once you really start like diving in, like you want the conversation to go on
I also
forever.
feel like we could talk about so many more things.
Right. I feel like we can talk about so much more. But I do kind of, and this was brought up earlier about HYROX because I do want to touch on that because I went to New York to see you guys. That was end of May. That was the end of May?
Like the last day of May.
Yeah. You guys absolutely crushed it. HYROX in New York City. That was HYROX and F45.
Yeah. It was the F45 sponsored HYROX in New York. Yeah.
And for the listeners and viewers who don't necessarily know what HYROX is, would one of you want to go ahead and kind of like just give them the spiel on what it is exactly?
HYROX is a fitness competition that's like gaining popularity within the US currently, but it is basically a 1 kilometer run, which is equivalent to about like 0.62 miles. And then in between each of those 8 runs, you have a station. So the stations can include anything from like 1,000 meters on the row, 1,000 meters on the ski, 100 wall balls. And like Kira and I did it together as a doubles HYROX race. So that means we have to do the runs together. We both have to complete all that kilometer for each one, but we get to split the stations however we want.
And the stations are all targeted meters or reps depending on what station it is. If you're on the row erg, then you are hitting a certain amount of meters. And then if you're doing the lunges or the burpees, you're going for the distance or the length, or you have to hit 100 wall balls or things like that.
It just sounds intense. That's what I took. That was I took away from the explanation of it. Yeah. But you guys made it look so effortless.
It was so fun.
It wasn't effortless.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah.
We did experience HYROX in DC 2 months prior to doing the one in New York. And it was definitely a different experience. I can at least speak for myself. That was my first HYROX. It was really intimidating. I don't think that I trained as hard or as intentionally as I should have. And I went into it already sort of being discouraging of myself and like where I was at versus what I wanted to show up as. And it was really fucking hard.
Yeah.
And like Meg knows, I mean, it was really hard and I had a really hard time and I felt like I wasn't breathing and I wasn't enjoying myself and there was no smile on my face and there wasn't really, you know, we had a couple amazing people that we love so dearly there, but we didn't have the same crowd or energy. There weren't really a lot of people that were watching us, not really anyone that was like there for us that wasn't also competing or like kind of focusing on what they had to do. And people that watched us and cheered us on, like, thank you so much. And we love you guys so much. That was about 2 of them, 3 of them, right?
Yeah,
and
3.
So it just felt really different. Meg and I also drove to DC. If you've ever driven in Philly or this area, you know traffic is such a bitch. It took us almost 4 hours to get into the city. And then we did the competition. We got there with like an hour to spare, did the competition and got immediately back in the car, drove home from DC and like I dropped her off and then I went home and we kind of just sat by ourselves. There was no like celebration. There was no moment of like, holy shit, even though that was really hard, we did it. It kind of just felt like, for me at least, like I struggled with it. So I didn't feel good when I was done. I felt like I disappointed my partner because it was a cakewalk for Meg. It was like
but she
just
didn't
another.
disappoint me.
Yeah,
Of course, I
not.
was literally
I mean,
fresh off marathon training.
Of course not. But that's how I felt because
Yeah.
I didn't show up and perform the way that I wanted to. So going into New York, it just felt so different. I also will say I wasn't doing anything significantly different in training. I wasn't running a whole lot more. I actually was decreasing the amount of high intensity training that I was doing. I was really getting into like full swing of doing Pilates every day. So I was shocked when it came time to us actually going and racing, like how good I felt. I had a smile on my face probably the entire time. I think the environment, being outside, having a bigger group. We were the first to go of the weekend. So not first of the day, but we went on Friday and we had probably 15 people with us in total that were also doing it. And so like they were going throughout the days of HYROX, us being able to go on Friday, knowing that we had the rest of the weekend to, well, I can speak for myself, not Meg, but
right, because you did it
twice.
Yeah.
At least for me, it was like, okay, I'm doing this and then I get to watch everyone else. And it just felt really good. We didn't do significantly better in terms of time than we did in DC, but we did well enough like in terms of time difference in New York that it felt like such a different experience. And I remember the moment where I said to Meg, like, I'm having anxiety and I want to do well, but I think I'm so much more focused this time on just having fun. And I remember saying that out loud. And I think that it was a moment for me where I also just like said it out loud so that I could fake it till I made it or like believed it myself. And not only did I have more fun, but I felt so much better that we ended up doing better as well.
Yeah. And I think that just goes to show, like, sometimes you put pressure on yourself and sometimes, like, that pressure just makes you more stressed and more anxious. And then those feelings build up when, like, if you're just present and you, like, living in the moment and just, like, going into things, like, looking to have fun, which is, I think is 100% what we did in New York, like, made the world a difference. Like, we genuinely smiled that entire race.
We were even gossiping.
Yeah.
Like, we were running and we were gossiping.
We were talking the whole time.
Yeah, but there was not a moment that you guys were not smiling.
No, we had the time. I had
truly,
the time of my
I was
life.
having so much fun.
Yeah.
And I am so glad that Kira felt that way afterwards too, because like I could tell after DC, she was like, I don't want to say you hated it, but I don't think
I hated
you loved
it. I hated it, and I thought about telling Meg that she needed to find a different partner for it to work.
She was going to.
Yeah.
So I think like just the fact that we had a good time and like time didn't matter whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like I literally just wanted to like have a fun time with my best friend, and I think we accomplished that in New York, which was amazing.
And we did better in time, which
Yeah.
mattered to me.
Yeah. You guys totally, absolutely crushed it. I want to give you your flowers for that.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, of course. I would not have missed that for the world.
Yeah, that was huge for you being there.
And like the sign, oh my gosh, I remember being in the hotel room that I booked and like just making it. And I was trying to remember every single person that was going to be competing. I was like, was Jeremy competing? Nadia's competing? But yeah, you guys absolutely crushed it. And I remember Meg texting me because I was asking her like who's all doing it, and you had said that some people were considering like maybe not doing it just because of like how intense it was going to be, or just kind of like the nerves and the jitters. But to see you guys still go out there and absolutely slay, like once again, there was not a moment where you were not smiling. It goes to show experiencing DC, but being able to show up, you can definitely tell that you guys were having fun. I wasn't there in DC, so maybe, there was kind of like that anxiousness, this expectation. And
I
also like
literally was passing away while I was running.
Yeah. But even like after the whole DC, like you doing DC, it allowed you to show up differently in New York City. And which is what I love, because once again, coming full circle, like doing hard things, it makes you realize you can continue just to do more hard things, right? So you showed up in New York City, HYROX, completely ready just to go in and have fun. You had your community around you and allowed it to be you were so much more at ease. Like I can definitely tell you guys were having so much fun. Like we were recording you all, and like I just remember the energy being so palpable, not only just from you both, but from everyone who was there.
The crowd in New York was awesome. Our group in New York was awesome. All of it.
Yeah. And it kind of made me want to do like a HYROX. I remember you asked me, you were like, would you ever sign up? And I was like, I don't know. Like, this is intense.
You have the running portion down.
Yeah, and it's a running race. I mean, like the other things are important. Being strong is important. But if you are a runner, you are capable of doing HYROX. And if you're not a runner, then you better start damn training, because it's a running race. Yeah,
I need to find my HYROX running partner, please. Well, I will turn to you guys for the training. Yeah. But I kind of wanted to touch on the HYROX because, once again, in full circle, and as we're getting ready to close out, just a testament to how courageous and strong and resilient you guys are, and how you motivate me to just show up for myself every single day, show up for my community. Like I look at you guys, and you're a beacon of hope for anyone who feels as though that they can't be whatever that they want to be. Hearing your story and how like you started out, Kira, hearing your story and finding your inner voice and the confidence, and just being a woman sometimes where the world is telling you it's so dominated by men, and being like, hey, like, no, be quiet. Hey, this opportunity isn't for you. Like you guys are paving a way and making a way in the industry and within fitness to have other women who are looking at you, and people who, in general, to just see that there is something for me out there. I can share my voice. I can be an advocate for myself. You showing up every single day and coaching, someone else is looking at you and being like, I can do that. Someone who is experiencing a tough time in life can look at both of you and be like, Kira's doing it. Why can't I? And that's why I always say, like, just start.
If this bitch is doing it.
Exactly. If you're doing it, someone else, like,
then I can definitely do it.
Exactly. And it gives you that perspective shift. But once again, you guys just inspire me every single day. Like, I really do love the both of you. I love where, meeting you guys first with so much like C product and giving away stuff. And at first, coming to F45 and just doing demos, now to us sitting down, having a conversation. And once again, experiencing and seeing each other through different phases and different chapters of our life, and like the maturity and the growth, but also like being able to see the child within all of us. Like there are moments, once again, getting back to your point about like the humor and how you joke and your humor and like the things that you love to do in that rest and recovery phases. Like that makes me appreciate you guys so much more than you showing up in the studio sometimes, for a workout, because now there's like a story behind it, like I know you. And it's like when I know that you're investing into me in the gym and also outside of the gym, that means so much. And you guys are doing that for the people when you have these F45 happy hours and you're creating content. I don't think I've been to one yet. Actually, I don't think I
wild.
have. I don't think I actually have been to one because they're always on a Thursday, and I'm always
We're
working.
switching them to Fridays for the most
Yeah,
part.
because
The last Friday one was really successful. You got to come.
Yeah. I would definitely be at the next one. I promise. And you guys we can listen to this and you can hold me accountable. Like, hey, I remember on July 28th, you said this at 7:27 p.m.
Yes.
But I just want to let you guys know that I love you dearly. And thank you so much for, allowing me to experience your authenticity and your vulnerability and just showing up every single day for yourself, but also investing into the people who are looking up to you. And sometimes you don't even know the people that are, someone will listen to this and be like, wow, like I'm going to go ahead and make that change in my life. Fitness is calling me, or even if it's not just fitness, like whatever it is, anything. Yeah. And that's the magic and the power of movement, or just, exploring what you're passionate about and what drives you. Like, what is your why and what, wakes you up every single day to just continue on. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to give you guys your flowers before we wrap up.
We love
Erin,
you.
we love you.
Yeah.
You are so inspiring to us as well. And your friendship to us feels so special.
Yeah. And we really are so honored to be here. Like, even the fact of you just like
like, who
us.
are we?
Yeah, literally.
Sitting here talking.
So thank you for having us. And we love you so, so, so much.
I love you guys. Don't make me cry. I swear I get so emotional. Okay, so wrapping up, last question. What advice would you give someone who is a little bit more nervous about sharing their fitness? Not necessarily sharing. What advice would you give someone who is nervous about starting their fitness journey? Whether that is just to kind of like work out, find a movement, or even if their goal is to be a coach, but they're scared of taking that very first step. Like, what would you say to them?
I would say you have quite literally nothing to lose, but everything to gain. Yeah. What's the worst that's going to happen? Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone fails. You get back up. You try again. And again, what's the worst that's going to happen? Like, you're working on your health. You're getting better. Like, you're just going to get stronger. You're just going to get more confident. Every single thing that we've touched on today, like, wouldn't have happened if we allowed the fear and the anxiety to hold us back.
Yeah.
So it's like stepping into that discomfort and knowing that that is where the growth happens.
Thanks, Meg.
Similarly to that, I don't know. I feel like you just, nailed it. But, it's one step at a time, one a day at a time. Progress and results are so not linear. I think it's like enjoying the process of watching yourself get stronger. Part of my favorite part about our job is watching people come in
100%.
And the strength that they build and the confidence they build, and literally watching them pick up a heavier weight one day out of nowhere. Suddenly, like, they're trying something that they didn't try before, that they didn't want to do before, or a weight that they never wanted to pick up before, a move on the reformer that they didn't think that they could do before. That shift is so incredible and so beautiful. I would say, like, find the thing that makes you feel good. It doesn't have to be what everyone else is doing. Move your body, go for a walk, be outside. If you like to walk, if you like low impact things, if you don't like going to a class because you feel intimidated, go outside, walk. If you want to try running, go for like half a mile. You don't have to run a marathon to like right off the bat to run, or to consider yourself a runner. And you don't have to be doing anything to the most extreme in order to consider yourself fit or healthy or, on this fitness journey. Don't compare yourself to anyone else's journey or experience or how they look, because you don't know if that is how they've looked since they were born, or if, they've been working really hard, or they have their own story and journey. And of course, it's so hard to not compare yourself, but I feel like Meg said it so well. Like, what's the worst that happens? And you don't have to be perfect, and you don't have to do anything perfect, especially the first, second, third, fourth, fifth time that you do it. It's just about trying it, like putting yourself in that uncomfortable zone, because as soon as you do and you get to that other side and you try it and you feel like, holy shit, I didn't even know that I could do a squat, or I didn't know that I could even get on the reformer, like, I looked at that machine and thought it was one of those things that like will cut my head off.
Yeah.
Like I had no clue. And then I like would hope that there's that little itch to go back and try it again. But yeah, I mean, it's everyone's own personal journey, and you just have to try and not release expectations of yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for being generous with your time and your knowledge and your wisdom, your advice. We have to do a part 2. There's still so much to unpack. Yes. But once again, I've thoroughly enjoyed this conversation, and I cannot wait for others to hear what you have to say. Okay?
Thank you so much for having us.
Of course.
We love you.
Thank you guys.
Let's pimp ourselves out, Meg. Go.
What?
Where can we find you?
Oh. You can find me at F45 Training in Northern Liberties, FS8 Fishtown, and Cyclebar Center City.
Amazing.
There we go. All right, everyone. Kira, do you want to?
Okay, you can find me at F45 Training in Northern Liberties, FS8 in Fishtown, Movement Center at both the Queen Village and the Graduate Hospital location. And as of this week, you can find me at the Inflow Heated Studio on Frankfurt Ave in Fishtown, teaching a Pilates class once a week. Okay, bye.
Perfect. All right, everyone. Bye. Have a good one.